Scholar Podcast.
Perfect.
And we'll call it a night.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Alright. Are we pressing the panic button on the Raptors at 2-8?
Panic,
Oh my God.
panic.
Raptor investor Josh Mail is immediately hitting the panic button. Tell us why. What concerns you about this squad?
Well, I kind of just wanted to do that, for like the
That was a
comedic,
good bit.
the comedic part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. So I actually don't think that they have to really panic right now. I mean, we talked about this last time. I think like when you're 10 games, 12 games, whatever many games there are into the season, it's like that is a big deal, especially when the season's cut short by 10 games. But at the same time, they've lost a lot of these games in like a very close score. The last two games they've lost by one,
Mm-hmm. Pascal missed
And
buzzer
then-
beaters.
and then
They
they've
lost to the
games.
Spurs by 5.
Yeah, they lost
They
the
lost to the
Suns
Pelicans
by
by
8.
4.
It's like they're all close, relatively close games. Sixers by 7.
Not an easy schedule to come out to either.
Definitely not. And now, looking at it right now, it does not seem to be getting much easier. It goes Hornets, Mavericks, Heat, Raptors, Bucks, with a few back-to-backs against those teams.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure if that's going to be great for them. I'm assuming that they'll go in a stretch eventually where it's not that hard. But actually, I'm looking at it right now. Their schedule looks pretty hard
Yeah, I've looked at it, bro. Trust me.
until like March. But
But it's the same. It's the same thing everybody else has.
No, there's no like Pistons until like late.
Oh wow.
There's not even like the Cavs have been like fine, but like you'd much rather play the Cavs than most teams. Like Bulls, no, there's no like OKC, Sacramento, teams like that, Timberwolves. It's brutal. And they still like Pascal's come on late now in the past couple games. Fred VanVleet started hot, but now like since Pascal's played well, VanVleet's kind of cooled off. Kyle Lowry's been like all right, and they just haven't found a way to fill the like Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol gap at all. I thought like Aaron Baines would do that fine. He's been like
plays.
horrific so far. Alex Len got thrown out there. He didn't seem to do much better. Chris Boucher shows a lot of promise. I don't know if he's a long-term solution, but they're really kind of struggling. I don't know if I'd say they're like, their roster's good enough where I think they can rebound. It's just going to be, it's an uphill battle, for sure.
For sure.
So I think we're panicking on the Raptors a little bit.
Only a bit.
Only a bit. Okay, are you hitting the panic button on the Washington Wizards?
Yeah.
3-8.
panic.
Panic. The panic button's been pressed.
Wait.
Kaplan's
Panic,
late on the
panic.
sound.
Fuck.
I'm gonna actually go and say that while this is a panic because of what we were expecting from them, even like what we personally were, I'm sure a lot of people
Right.
might not have been expecting what we were expecting, but we were expecting like a good season. Now I don't think that's gonna happen. Like I don't even like throw the panic button away. I think it's completely over. I just don't think it's gonna work out. I don't see a way that they make the playoffs. I don't see a way that they get any better. Their team just like isn't good. Even if they do have two good players, Russell Westbrook's not playing well. Bradley Beal's playing out of his mind. So it's like even if they do have like those players, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. But
Well-
now Thomas Bryant is out for the season. It's just like no, no way.
Listen, I told you guys once. I told you guys twice. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are the only duo in basketball that could combine for an equally worked on 100 points in one night, like a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's gonna happen this year. I think it's time to panic if you are a Wizards fan. I think you probably had high hopes that this could be a playoff team, but unfortunately this won't be a playoff team. But they definitely won't finish in the they'll definitely finish on the cusp of making the playoffs. Like they'll move ahead of a team like the Knicks, and potentially the Hawks.
They did just beat the
depending
Suns
on- Yeah, but
without
like
Westbrook.
yeah, they've won most of their games without Westbrook.
Right.
And
But-
barring like a brutal season-ending injury, like a leg snap or something, he'll be there a lot. So they got to figure out how to win with the team that they have.
And I'll tell you why they're not doing well, Joshua. And Bradley Beal can tell you why, is that they can't defend anybody. They're leading the league now in opponent point per game. They're like supporting cast right now is just kind of failing them, I feel like. Bertans got off to a slow start. He heated up a little bit. I feel like Thomas Bryant's a big loss for them. They're going to have to fill him with like Robin Lopez and Mo Wagner.
It's Wagner.
Well, if you're a little German boy.
Like Stephen Higgins.
And like Denis is like weird. I don't know how he fits in. Rui hasn't like done much. So I don't know. I think I've already seen reports of Scott Brooks being on the hot seat. And I think this might be a case where we'll talk, do you deal Westbrook or Beal and kind of just blow this up and see kind of what you have? But I'm panicking if I'm in Washington right now. In D.C., more reasons than one to panic in the nation's capital, I'll tell you that much.
And just for the record that this is a left-wing podcast. There is no Republicans on the mics right now, so you should be panicking. Looking at the Capitol right now, you should, and the rest of the globe, especially the United States Capitol buildings right now, you should be panicking. And this is a scary time for our nation.
Because of the Wizards, or?
Yeah, but yeah, for real, this podcast supports a lot of things
Right on.
that are good.
Seconded.
Just want to get that out, just in case we
Right.
get any right-wing listeners, so they stop listening.
That would be something else. Let's move on to, speaking of right-wing listeners, not really, that was just kind of a forced segue.
Sorry.
We could. Let's go to right-wing listeners. Looking
go to our
at Steven
Higgins.
his permanent residence in Denver, Colorado. Look at the Nuggets right now, just dropped to 5-6. Lost a big lead against the Nets tonight. Puts them under 500. Are you hitting the panic button on the Nuggets?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I
I was getting ready for that.
Josh?
I'm putting the panic button on the Nuggets. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes!
Let her rip.
Panic!
Tell us why, Josh. What is your cause for concern?
I just think that they don't. I will say actually, Michael Porter has been out.
Has been out.
So
Forever.
maybe you shouldn't put the panic button on it, but they should not be 5-6. They have an MVP candidate. They have players that are supposed to be like one of the best supporting
Jamal.
casts in like all of basketball. So it's like, why are they like this? Gary Harris is just garbage. Like he's terrible now. I don't know what happened to him. He was never like that great, but he was definitely better
Just
than
like
what he is
filler.
now. Now he's just really bad.
Well, what about losing Jeremy
Gary.
Grant?
Gary here?
Wait,
Losing Jeremy Grant, well, they only had him for 1 year, and it's gonna make a difference. But they've been good, and they've been pretty good in the past.
why is Jeremy Grant so fucking good now?
Well, it's just, it comes down to nobody's around him. So,
Real deal or get real on Jeremy Grant.
Get real.
get real.
Fair enough.
Put him on. If you put him on like
the Nuggets, he becomes
if you put him on
bad.
the Lakers, he becomes like a Kyle Kuzma.
Well, yeah, we saw exactly what he actually is on the Nuggets.
Exactly, yeah.
So
And like all the other teams he's been on, and I mean he hasn't gotten like
I think
the same amount of minutes. He's a really good player though, I will say, but like, I mean I don't think that really matters. When he was starting for the Nuggets and like the Thunder, like he had some really good games, but
yeah,
I think Murray's underperforming.
absolutely is.
Well, I
So-
just think that what people expected was him to be like in the bubble. Now, he can still do that because the bubble was only 8 games, and then they had the playoffs, and they obviously played a lot of playoff games. But like he can go on like a 10-game stretch where he goes off, like just like he does, just like he did in the bubble. But it's like, I mean, look at him statistically. Like Jamal Murray has never been like even close to what you need in like a second guy, really.
No. Well, you'd hope with Porter out, he would fill that, at least scoring wise. Just hasn't done
Exactly. And I mean, if you look at him, his stats again, like he's averaging more points than he did last year, less assists, less rebounds, but he's shooting better.
it. Yeah, it's
from
actually
three.
really weird.
That
I was
career best
expecting his
from
numbers to
three.
be terrible.
Yeah, same. And you know, maybe it's just something. Maybe people are guarding him differently. I mean, I haven't really watched too many Nuggets games, but I know that he should be having a better year than this. And what might be occurring is Jokic is just playing way more point
Yeah,
than he ever has
that's
played
true.
before. I mean, he's getting 10 assists, so it's like that's 3 more assists per game. So that takes away a ton from Jamal Murray, who was only averaging 4.
yeah.
It's pretty hard to get assists when you have a center that's playing point guard pretty much.
That's a good point. Guard. And we'll swing over to who the Nuggets just played. Maybe not necessarily the panic button on the court, maybe more off the court for your Brooklyn Nets. Now at 500, this was a team we all had top 3, top 2 record. Doesn't really reflect that at the moment. Kyrie is MIA. Weird stuff coming out about him. Are you hitting the panic button if you're Sean Marks, Steve Nash in Brooklyn?
Yes. Scott,
Let's see.
thank you.
Let's fucking go! SOS, get in here!
Yeah,
The Nets are on
I
a
think
boat.
That, I think that I think that like when you have a player like Kyrie Irving, and as Celtics fans, we know this because we had him.
Yeah.
That like when this stuff happens, you want to just be like. I remember at first when this kind of stuff was happening. At first, you're just like all the drama. You're just like, I hope that that's not true, and like I like that. This is worse than, in my opinion, this is probably worse than like, anything he did on the Celtics. But like, you just like hope if you're a Nets fan, like you hope that like this is like he's like out for a legitimate reason. But I don't know if he really is. So I say panic. Not that they're not going to have a great season either way, and I think he will come back. I say panic just because like this is like who you have now,
Right.
and like it kind of sucks. He's like you have like one of the best players in the world, and he just does
We have
this.
2 of the best players in the world.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but then you have, but like I'm saying, like Kyrie, you have Kyrie, like you have him,
Hmm.
but then he like doesn't.
And all that comes with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't do.
Well,
Like, why does he have to do this?
right, and he's going to have to, if he does come back, which he presumably will, it's like, what is that locker room going to be like? Like, if you're
Yeah.
Steve Nash, like, what kind of message does this send
And-
to him? If
and-
you're KD and you're like, I came off a COVID thing, I'm coming back, trying to get this team kind of, try and, steer the ship back to
Yeah.
where we want to be, and then Kyrie takes off, and, if you're looking at a guy like Harris, Joe Harris, Jared Allen, who've kind of now stepped up, and it's like we kind of have a thing going, and now you expect to just come back and try and like run the offense again. I don't know. It's just gonna be really awkward.
And
And
it,
it's Steve Nash's like first year.
Yeah, that's fucked.
and he has to like answer all these questions, and like they're saying like, "Where's Kyrie?" And he's like, "I don't know. I haven't heard from him." And it's like,
I know what I was gonna say.
what kind of relationship are you setting up with your head coach? I thought everything was cool in Brooklyn. You have KD now. Like, if you're Kyrie Irving, you couldn't have a better situation. You have like the best roster in the NBA.
Yeah, I thought it was what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to, and I remember in the bubble, or maybe it was before the bubble or after, or whatever it was, because he wasn't in the bubble. But whenever it was, there were like reports saying that his teammate that he had like these like outbursts,
Mm-hmm.
and like his teammates like were like didn't know what to do kind of thing. And like you hear these things about Kyrie like all the time. Like I don't know, me personally, I just like don't believe them a lot of the times. But then it's like now, like I just look back and I'm like, you know what? He probably was. Like, that probably was occurring. He was probably having
Wait,
this like
could you guys hear me?
no.
Oh, I've been talking, and I'm like, damn, they keep interrupting me.
Yeah, but no.
Brian, you've
So-
been out for like 10 minutes, bro.
So I
Actually?
mean, I think that
You're back now, though, so.
You're good, Brad. We'll get to you. You can make your points after Josh.
Yeah, Brian can
What
make his points. I'm done.
I was just gonna say, in fairness to Kyrie, as much as I like can't stand him, I think what he was originally sitting out for was like, cause like the the emotional aspect behind what went on in the Capitol last week. Like I understand that, but then with the video surfacing of him like maskless in a party, I think
Yeah.
as a superstar you need to be more delicate about how you go on like in these situations. I
Mhm.
mean, you see what happened with James Harden, getting caught maskless in the club. Like obviously this was like his sister's birthday party, which like I understand.
7 Happy Meals on the table.
Yeah, I just think you need to
Panic
You
button
need to-
on James Harden's arteries.
yeah, you need it.
Panic!
Hit it. All right, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I think no, it's fine. You guys are just still being rude. I think you just need to be more like if you're Kyrie, you have to be more cautious, especially if like you're saying that you're gonna sit out because of how like emotionally taxing what's going on in the world right now is. Like, and everyone released a statement. He said before the season like that he won't be afraid to sit out if he has to, but everyone's making statements right now, and he's kind of kept his silence. And then the way to break his silence is that he was out with his like family partying, maskless.
Not a good look.
If you're the Nets, he's out 2 weeks right now, and that's not even about like it has nothing to do with COVID. You know what I mean? So this could reset a new 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he could be out for like an extended period of time.
Wait, damn, how long was I out for? Did you guys ever hear me talking about Jeremy Grant?
No.
I
Damn.
don't think so. I don't know what happened. Did your like
That's
AirPods
crazy.
check out or something?
No, all of a sudden I looked and it said mute, and I was like, why?
Oh.
I was like, damn, Josh is
Um,
interrupting me. Even Matt's interrupting me. Everyone's interrupting me. I was like, this sucks. Wait,
Brian was about to fucking cancel the Baller Scholar podcast.
I was gonna say if Brian's staying silent on Kyrie, that's wild.
I was talking about it. I was talking about Jokic. I was talking about Jeremy Grant. God,
Oh, sorry, buddy.
you guys went silent for a while too, because I talked for like 15 seconds and no one had said anything.
I just have a thought on Kyrie.
Please.
Also, I got a weird delay going on. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
No.
if it sounds good on you, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have really like understood that Kyrie was crazy when he literally wanted to leave LeBron. Like, who does that? Everyone kind of excused it as like, oh, he wants to lead his own team. But
Right.
like, come on, who the fuck wants to leave? Literally like the best player of all time, and he came. Is that a hot take? Is that a hot take?
The GOAT. Nah.
Wait,
well,
wait,
you can
wait,
say,
wait.
You can
Wait,
say
sorry, MJ. He's number two. He's number two.
No.
Well,
I'm
you can
not
say
talking
the
about
best player
of all time.
of the times.
Of the modern era.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not
like-
talking that's the hot take. I'm saying that everybody like who would want to leave LeBron. I think that
Really?
I think for Kyrie, he won a championship with LeBron. You knew LeBron was leaving soon. Like that's what everyone was talking about. So Kyrie,
Yeah,
for
but they could have had
example,
a whole another run.
I think at that point, like he won the championship that he wanted. Now he wanted to do it on his own and prove that he was still great.
And he hasn't yet.
Yeah,
Because
because he's there's so much
he
going on.
something's going on. I think he just is like, I don't know. I do. It does kind of make me sad because it could be like his mental health is just like not all there, which is like
Yeah,
that sucks. And like, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, Kyrie's a dumbass, blah blah blah. But I don't know. He clearly like
something's
always
up.
has some shit going on. But I don't. It doesn't excuse his like lack of communication. Like it. He can't just like go AWOL,
Yeah, for
which
this one.
which is what he does a lot. So I don't know. I do hate Kyrie. Fuck Kyrie. I don't know why I'm defending him. What the fuck?
No, there is definitely an element to that. It's just like, well, you bring up LeBron. I mean, look, it's kind of crazy because LeBron is someone that's very proactive, like socially,
Yeah.
as an activist, as like a team leader. I mean, he's played like every game so far, despite having one of the shortest breaks of any off season.
Mhm.
And like I feel like that's kind of, I'm not like a LeBron sexual or whatever you call it, but like to some degree, I think he's putting on like a great example of what it means to lead. And even if he does take a day off on like a back-to-back, like he's on the bench,
Mhm.
Coaching.
and coaching.
Happy.
So I feel like that's what Kyrie seems to
It's-
aspire to be,
it's
but
so
never
funny.
can pull off.
It's so funny. Kyrie wanted to be a leader, and he's shown that he'll never be a leader.
Apparently
Never.
not.
Yeah.
So
It's too bad.
He's
That
making
is too
KD
bad.
look like a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and KD is like a whole nother like sideshow that, I mean, he supported KD or Kyrie, initially. I don't know how he feels after this kind of like social media things come up, but he's another personality that who knows where his head's at after this. So
Yeah.
Nets are a question mark. We'll see kind of going forward, kind of keep tabs on what Kyrie's doing. He kind of did the little Dennis Rodman thing going on here with Harden and Kyrie.
That's
More,
facts.
A little bit.
more Harden on the James with the Dennis Rodman comparison, but this Kyrie thing is like just getting crazy. I think Kyrie's career in general will be documentary worth.
Sounds like it. Other panic buttons are like anyone hitting the panic button, like Timberwolves. I feel like isn't even worth talking about. We did talk about James Harden. Rockets right now. I mean, Christian Wood impressed early, kind of
Yeah.
tapered off. Are we
It
hitting the
seems
panic
like-
button in Houston?
No, I think like as of right now, it seems like James Harden's there to stay for the season. I think you can try to move him during the season, but if Boogie, John Wall, and Harden can kind of gel together a little bit better as time goes on, I think it'll be like this team could end up being decent. I still don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think the panic button would have been hit a long time ago, like preseason. But for now, I think the panic should have subsided, and you should just live with what you have over there in Houston because it's not going to be great for a few years.
What about you, Josh? Cause for concern?
For the Rockets or for
Yeah, Rockets.
Yeah, I mean,
They dropped to 3-6 tonight.
I don't know. I
Mm.
think that I mean I agree with Brian. I think that Harden's probably going to stay at this point. He could still get traded. Either way, if I were the Rockets, I would trade. I would trade him. I think that you could have like a really, really, really solid future.
That's a great point,
Could
actually.
get a great package for him. We'll
and
look
like
at.
you're holding
dive
him
into
for,
that.
like, for what? Like you like I mean, see, this is like the issue I have a lot with like a lot of like GMs, and I know that like in professional sports, you always want to have like that mindset of like we're going to win. We are going to win. Like we will like we're not going into the season with like the expectation to lose. But like what are you going to do when you're like the Timberwolves? You think you're going to win an NBA championship? No. So when you're like the Rockets, it's like you have to just look at yourself and see that you've had like no success this year so far. Last year was bad. And like since last year, like did you get better? No. Did teams around you get better? Yeah. So it's like you're not gonna win. So make a trade. You could get a lot for James Harden. Get pieces that will like help later. Like I mean, Charles Barkley always brings it up. Like literally, like I feel like it's every time I watch NBA on TNT, he brings it up, where it's like, just trade Harden for LeVert, Allen, and Dinwiddie, and now Dinwiddie's hurt. But
Yeah.
like something like that, like sure, like that, just do that, and like get a pick too. Like why not? That's just how I feel.
Right,
I don't
well-
think it's really time to panic though for them. I think that like like this year, it's not going to happen. But like
It's
I don't think
weird
it's like
though,
a panic for like the future. I think that they'll be fine.
because the Rockets, I would say on paper, technically got better when you think about like they traded Westbrook for John Wall, Christian Wood, and DeMarcus Cousins. Like
Well, it
that's a
depends on
better
what
team.
So well, DeMarcus Cousins is like, as much as I do like him a lot, it's just an overrated signing. But John Wall and Russell Westbrook, I mean, comparable. And then Christian Wood, obviously a great pickup, one of the best pickups probably of like the season for any team. But like compared to what they like where they were at one point last season with like Capella, Westbrook, 2 seasons ago when they had and like Covington too, like Covington, Chris Paul, Capella, Ariza, like they have gotten worse and worse. Not as big of a drop off between last year and this year, but
Yeah.
obviously as big of a drop off between the 2 years ago when they almost won the Western Conference Finals. Like they should have won the Western Conference Finals against the
Mhm.
Warriors. But yeah, I mean,
Fair enough.
they're not going to do anything this year.
No, probably not. Okay. Well, that concludes the panic button.
No, come on.
The panic button. Unless you want to do another team.
Wait.
There it is. All right, so
You just listened to another episode of the Baller Scholar podcast.